Hello and welcome to this episode of the Business Spotlight. Today we are joined by Sacha at Laser on Tour. Hi, Sacha.
I am.
So thanks for joining us today, and we're really excited to learn a little bit more about you, a little bit more about your business. And for those joining us today, if it's the first time you've joined us, the goal of the Business Spotlight is for you to learn a little bit more about business, be inspired by the people that we interview if you're thinking about getting into business or starting that entrepreneurship journey. So, Sacha, if you could just kick things off for us by telling the viewers who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it.
Well, really, I'm a kind of a serial entrepreneur, having founded sort of 11 different enterprises over a period of time. But today we're talking about Laser on Tour. And I have a business partner, which happens to be my girlfriend. It's a lovely story, Neda Namin, and she does the laser hair removal of our business. And we decided to franchise it. So I've taken up the position as CEO of the company, coming up with all the systems and processes, and we're rolling out over 170 franchises over the next 2 years. We just raised some startup capital for it. We've just taken our first 2 franchises in the first year. We're rolling out 2 a month, and yeah, we're disrupting this space, quoting ourselves as the most disruptive business in terms of franchising for women in the UK. We're taking girls from that do laser hair removal earning 27, 35 grand a year to 6-figure salaries. And we really want to disrupt the space. So that's what we're doing at Laser on Tour.
Wow, that's amazing. So, I mean, you mentioned franchising there. So what's the difference? I mean, there's lots of franchise choices out there. So what makes you guys different? What makes you stand out from the crowd?
I think our franchise is different, is because we're after owner operators, and we're about freedom. So you can see it behind us here. The things that we are trying to deliver is self-love. I think it's probably going to be in reverse on the screen, but self-love, empowerment, and confidence, and that's what we deliver with every treatment. But also, we're empowering young ladies by giving them the opportunity to own their own business and change their lives. We really are changing lives across the country, and we change lives with every treatment. If you've ever had laser hair removal, it turns your skin into silky smooth skin. You have no hair. It's transformative for women because from a £2,000 charge, you never have to shave again, and a woman spends in their lifetime something like 20 something £1,000 on waxing and shaving, which basically is a really bad treatment for the skin. It's painful. You'll have razor burns. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been waxed, but it's absolutely awful. But from the franchise point of view, we're really disrupting the space, because to open up a traditional bricks and mortar sort of salon, it costs like £200,000 to £300,000, where we are actually putting 75% of the investment in on every franchise to change these people's lives, and giving them the opportunity of supplying them with the equipment, which is normally worth 30,000, and they can buy a franchise from us, one area, for £15,000. We do all the advertising and the marketing for them. We do all the training. We had to build a training school here in Hertford, the first mobile laser hair removal training course in the country. Wow. And we designed a 9-kilogram machine that basically allows women to pick it up, these girls to pick it up and go into people's homes, actually, and treat people in the comfort of their own homes. So from our point of view, our customers, the end client, they're not worried about, getting undressed in a salon. They can have a shower at home. They're comfortable. They see the same practitioner from start to finish. And it's just a lovely business. It's a beautiful business. The customer is happy to pay the money because they're getting an outstanding service. And the franchisee is really happy because she can earn a 6-figure salary within a startup place of 6 months.
That's phenomenal. Well, that definitely sounds good to me. So, yeah, no, that's brilliant. So what's the journey been like? I mean, from the original concept or idea to sort of like bringing it up to speed to where you are now.
Well, that's why the beginning journey was lovely, absolutely amazing. And I was having a little break from my crowdfunding business that I established just after the pandemic, in the pandemic. I met Neda, my now partner. I call her the Persian princess, absolutely stunning. And she was a single mother, and she wanted to start her own business. She'd come out of a corporate environment, and she loved laser hair removal. She'd had it done herself, so she retrained and started working in a salon, learning the ropes, the basics. And thought she was going to go out and buy a traditional bricks and mortar salon. And we just met, it was in this honeymoon period, 6 months. I'd fallen in love. She was like, I said, look, don't do that, darling. Please, just don't go out and laden yourself with your first business with, shop, rent, staff, overheads, even if you're buying a business. I said, why don't you go mobile? And she was like, Sacha, have you seen the sizes of these machines? And I went, no, what do you want about being very naive? Didn't know this is 4 years ago. And I said, well, show me. Let me have a look. And so I walked upstairs into the salon where she was working, saw this huge, great big device that weighs over 100 kilos. I said, oh, okay. I kind of get you. I'm thinking a mobile beautician going around. I said, I kind of get you. Can't really put that on the back, but let me have a look at it. So the first thing here was, the current paradigm, because I'd come from a different place, was, these machines need to weigh 100 kilos. They have big water tanks in them. So I opened up the back of the machine, looked inside, and I have a slight engineering, but not much of an engineering background, but I built web servers, for my hosting company and stuff like that. And I just thought, this doesn't need all this inside, like when you look at the current laptop with the technology. I said the laser technology is mostly in the head. The biggest part of it was the top, and which I said, well, that part's only needs to weigh about 9-10 kilos. I mean, you can remove this old-fashioned power supply, this water tank you can remove and put a new induction. So anyway, bottom line is I invented a 9. I said to her, look, this can be done a lot lighter. And I said, if there isn't somebody in the world that's invented a machine like this, which often or not, if you've had the fall, somebody else has had that fall as well. And she set the challenge. I said, oh, I find it a lot lighter. And I went off and found a machine, a manufacturer in Spain that had the same idea as me, didn't need all of this, and he wanted to grab it. And it was a 9-kilogram device. I bought it back from Spain, and it was a £30,000 machine. That's how much I loved her. Instead of a big engagement ring and gold, I bought her a laser hair removal device. It wasn't quite, but I leased it because obviously when you're starting a new business, if you're not a homeowner, banks don't want to know you. That goes back to my other business. And so she even though she had a bit of capital, she wouldn't qualify for the lease of this kit, which was really sad, because really ambitious young lady who wants to go out there. Great idea. So I signed for the lease, bought the kit back through my little web design business that I own. I said, look, I'll build your branding, did everything. We called it Laser on Tour. Fantastic name. We played around with the words LOT, had the lot of. It was great fun coming up with a name. I mean, you can imagine, fluff off, I don't know, all sorts of names you can come up with. But we come up with a real professional name, Laser, and it's beautiful. And anyway, I set her up, and she was so ambitious. This is a difference between powerful entrepreneurs and someone that like Neda, who's so passionate. And I know how you can spend a fortune on advertising, right? That's the thing about business. Unless you've got something that works, you can raise literally millions. So I said, don't advertise, do partnerships with people, go out, knock on doors. You've got this laser hair, there'll be other beauticians that can't afford it. Do deals with them. And let's go down the pub and see people. Yeah. Well, anyway, 6 months later of her setting her all up, she came back in. She had about £9,000 in cash sitting on the bed, and like her bank account had grown over that. And I said, and I added up how much she took in one calendar month, and she took £13,000 in a month.
Wow.
And I was, Ned, this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. I said, we need to box this. And that's what happened. So that part of the business was beautiful. It was just a real lovely journey to that point. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why, why franchising is great, because you're picking a business that's already, working, right? That's been tried and tested by somebody else. So we did that. We set her up. And then I literally went, right, I can box this. And I was taking time out. I was only doing 1 or 2 days a week on the crowdfunding site. So I went, well, let's set up the franchise. Now, this is where the problem starts, okay? Great businesses are, you can earn really great money out of being a one-man business, no overheads, no staff. That's the advice that I gave her right at the beginning, earning 10, 13,000 pounds a month. Fantastic business. We were going on holidays in that time. We had 15 holidays that year.
Nice.
With earning that level of holiday. She paid for our ski trip. We got 5 kids between us, cost us 15 grand out of that then. Beautiful time of life. And that's a great business. When you want to take it to the next level, where you're employing staff and you want to franchise it, that's where the problems start. So, and that, do you want me to talk about that?
Yeah, tell us what the plans are for the future. Yeah, let's hear it.
Franchising. So that's one business, building the first franchise that works.
Yeah.
When you come to franchising it, whole different ballgame. You've got to now get contracts, right? Now you can't design, legal fees can be thousands and thousands of pounds. So, you know, before we didn't have much legal fees. Now we've got thousands of pounds worth of legal fees. Now you're looking at employing people. So you need proper, correct training in place, right? And also insurance, getting insurance for the devices out on the road. We had to get a bespoke insurance policy in for a Lloyd's underwrite in London. Yeah. We couldn't get the girls in the franchise solution out there unless we had a specific training course. It's all right, us on our own, we could take the risk, you know, get it further forward. But actually taking on franchises, you need to be professional. You need them insured. You need everything covered. I also discovered that Ned wasn't correctly insured properly at the beginning. You know, based on the advice that a broker had actually given us, 90% of the people who are doing laser hair removal don't have the correct policy for malpractice insurance. Wow. So all the investigation started, you know, like £4,000 or £5,000 on this, you know, £7,000 or £8,000 going out consulting a lawyer. You don't even know the business model yet. How's the business model? How are you going to get a percentage of everyone's earnings? One of the exciting things that we did, I mean, obviously we disrupted the space with the 9-kilo device and home visit. Was when I was watching Neda treat people, she had this, it's a laser shot, goes beep, 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 and it had a counter on it. And I used to sell photocopiers years ago. We used to have a photocopier business, and we used to charge a penny per copy for service and stuff like that. And then we used to tie it up with the leases. And I thought, well, if I measure how much the treatments are going, maybe I can come up with a pay-as-you-go solution for the franchises, where we charge them per laser shot. So I measured every part of the body that she did and how long it took, and come up with a calculation. And I spoke to the manufacturer, got very friendly with in Spain. I said, look, can we put some software on there that cuts the machine off at 100,000 laser shots? And he said, why? I said, and then we put a code in, like as if it was a mobile phone. So he said, yes. I said, because I've investigated this and I've found some software that we've used before on copiers. And he went, yeah, I can do that. I said, brilliant. I said, absolutely excellent. So so he put the software on the device for us. We became the distributor as well since that. Okay. So I got a distribution license with him. We put this, and he loved the idea what I come up with this software. And then every 100,000 laser shots, the machine can cut off. So I can get a percentage of the franchise earnings, you know, which is the ideal franchise. And it's a pay-as-you-go solution. And I also sign the lease with the capital that I've got so that these girls can have a machine and we own the machine. Yep. So the bottom line is we invented this franchise now where we give them a device. Yep. We train them. I had to get a CP, I had to write a training school as well. I had to write a whole training course, a new mobile laser training course, so that we get them insured. And then we put the software on, and it's 1.35 pence a laser shot, which works out between 20 and 25% of their earnings. Yep. Yeah. And they pay us the laser shots up front. So they pay £1,350 for the laser shots. They get 100,000 laser shots. With that, they can go out and earn £5,000–6,000.
Wow.
And so that was the business model. Okay, so back down that, and I finished that business model for about 18 months ago to like January last year. And then we launched January last year, and we took on 3 franchises. Now, this is where the trouble starts, because you think that you've got a fantastic business model. You think you're going to copy it like your beautiful girlfriend does and goes out there and smashes it. Well, not everybody is like Neda. Yeah. not everybody can network, not everybody can sell.
Yeah.
And what I did discover about franchise owners is that you're going to get the 20-80 rule. You know about the 20-80 rule?
Yep.
Yeah,
Pareto, yeah.
yeah, exactly. 20% of your sales force is going to be, is going to generate 80% of the income. And I did kind of suspect that anyway would happen. But what I didn't realize is that not everyone would be like Neda. I thought they would just go out and get the business. So we gone out and spent £75,000 on the first 3 franchises, thinking we're going to take 25% of their earnings. Very lovely people. We've got an infinite mindset, thinking, these people are going to be lovely. They're going to take massive opportunity of this. Let's just get them out there. No,
Yeah.
they left the machine in the corner of the room. Didn't go and get customers.
Yeah.
Why? Because also their mentality was they hadn't paid for the machine.
Yeah.
They didn't have any motivation. Whereas Neda, although albeit me, Neda had responsibility of that capital investment.
Yeah.
So they didn't. So although it was beautiful, right, a business idea, it didn't work. So we had to get all the people. So we had a journey, and weirdly now our franchise is we charge £15,000 up front.
Yep.
Okay. And that's not because we don't believe that we can earn the money back out, the 25% of the earnings. The business model is still the same. It's because we believe that people actually have to have an investment and have to have responsibility and skin in the game to make this work. If they don't, we still have taken a lot of the risk out. It costs £50,000 to us to open up a mobile laser hair removal franchise because you've got the machine, you've got the training, you've got absolutely everything in it. And we can return our income back within 3 to 6 months, hopefully 8 months. But it's the psychology of when you're taking people on and you're franchising is that they need to have skin in the game, and you also got to pick the best people. We choose now 1 out of 50 people.
Yeah.
We take anyone else on.
Wow. So that was a big lesson in the learning there then, yeah?
Yeah, and so that was £125,000 loss, like that.
Yeah. Wow. That's yeah, so it's a great share. Thank you so much, Sacha. And I'm sure a lot of our viewers today are going to really get some good stuff from that. So thanks for sharing that. So I'm going to ask you a bit of a loaded question now. I mean, you've got lots of businesses, so hopefully this is going to be one that you can think a little bit about before the answer comes out. So we're going to go back in time. Humour me, we've got a time machine. We've jumped in it. We're going to go back in time and we're going to go and see an 18-year-old Sacha. Now, you get to give yourself the best piece of advice that you can. What would it be?
I know exactly what it's going to be. It's learning about finance, learning about money, like running a business off the back of a fag packet, which is what I did when I launched my first business at 17. I was in a pub, and it was the pub scrub cleaning company. The guy that actually, I was a fitness instructor, the guy that owned the gym, owned a cleaning company. And I'd earn extra money, is get up in the morning, I'd work all, God's end, from 6 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. I was always keen to earn extra money. And so I discovered I was just doing extra bits cleaning for him. Didn't bother me, the cleaning, whatever it was. And when I first got old enough to go in a pub, I was like 17 years old, last orders, got to know, being a gregarious character, got to know the owner and his cleaner wasn't turning up in the morning. And it was like, well, we're drunk, like sitting there chatting, chewing the fat. And I said, well, why don't you get, a floating cleaner between, there was a couple of publicans, between you all. And when one's sick and when it's ill, you've got it covered. And I thought, oh, that's a really good business idea. Just like that.
Yeah.
Oh, we can clean my pub tomorrow. And before you knew it, 6 months later, I had it was called the Pub Scrub Cleaning Company. I had 100 pubs. I had a cleaner, one of my cleaners called Maureen. I had an XR3i van with called Pub Scrub Cleaning car on the side of it. And back then, I used to follow the drain man, and every pub would give me a pint. And I was absolutely, and I had all this cash, and I was shit-faced on a Friday afternoon. I was absolutely hammered, and I had a driver at 18 years old taking me around the pubs. But and that potentially could have become a very big company.
Yeah.
You learn about all the things that I know now. But the biggest thing really is learning about how to manage money and how to raise capital. Nobody knows how, very young entrepreneurs, a lot of entrepreneurs, even I've asked you, don't know what dilution is. They don't know how to raise capital via equity. And like we've just, for example, built this business. We've got it valued at 500,000 recently, the Laser on Tour business. We issued 500,000 shares to Nedda. I've bought into Nedda's business, like, and because I bought into the business and invested in the business, I'm buying shares from her. She's issuing shares, so she's got 500 shares. She's issued another 100,000 shares. I put 100 grand into the business, and we do it on an SCIS investment, and I get 50% back on my tax from that 100 grand. When we exit in 3 years from now, there's no tax because it's a seed enterprise investment scheme. And it's learning about dilution and shares. And we just issued more shares, and we raised another 100 grand via, free investors that have taken, say, 5% equity in the business. So not many entrepreneurs now, perhaps that you're speaking to, run of the mill, will know about dilution, will know about equity, will know about tax schemes, will know about SCIS, but learning about stocks and shares and how to dilute the company and how to raise capital via your equity, doing a business plan, an investor memorandum, and and working that way, would have changed my life.
Yeah, wow, that's some really powerful information, and you never know, there might be some 18-year-olds listening to this, Sacha, and that information's just gone straight in there. So, whilst you're not able to go back in time and give that advice to yourself, there's going to be some people watching today that are going to be able to take that on board. So that's a great share. Thank you so much for that. Sacha, I can tell from just chatting to you today that you're obviously really passionate about what you do, but what is it that really fires you up? What is it that puts that fire in your belly every single day to do what you do?
I think that's I write about this in my book, actually. I've written a book called The Crowdfunder. That no one's bought it, not even my mum. But I made myself a promise to write a book, and I did it, albeit it's, you can find it's like £2 on Amazon or something stupid like that. So it literally, it was just a commitment I made myself, and I said that I was going to do it. But in it, I talk about discovering your genius is really, really important to operate in that when you start any business. And obviously cleaning, being a pub cleaner wasn't really my genius, was it?
Yeah.
All right. And my genius really is going on adventures. You can see it having 11 different companies. It's 11 different adventures, isn't it? All that experience, going away on holiday, going skiing. And so to learn that part of me, I had to really delve down and write down all the things that I loved, all the things that I was passionate about, all the things that actually, made me who I was. So it wasn't a skill as such. It was basically, that's what I love, going on adventures, and I understand that now. So I get really excited about this business because we're going to open up 170 adventures.
Yeah.
Change the lives of people over the next 3 years. So that's why I'm excited. And the crowdfunding site that I built, which I'm the chairman of, that's similar. That actually is about raising capital now for people to go on their own adventures and expand their businesses and challenge the stock exchange. We're challenging banks and the London Stock Exchange because it costs £500,000 to become listed, on AIM. But why not go on a crowdfunding site like NextCrowd and raise 150,000? It only costs 5-10% of what you're raising.
Yeah, no, exactly that. Wow. I can see where that gives some passion, especially like you say, with those adventures, and you've got 11 businesses. I mean, wow, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's been absolutely great speaking to you today, Sacha. And I mean, just for our viewers today, I mean, if you can just share how they can get hold of you, find out more about the Laser on Tour business, and if they want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do so?
Yeah, I mean, if they're interested in raising capital, go to Next Crowd. But make sure before they approach Next Crowd that you have, and a good tip is actually download my book first. I don't want to promote it. I mean, I'd give it away if I could. It's like £2 or £3. So find it on the Crowdfunder. It's on Amazon. It's called The Crowdfunder by Sacha, and that will tell you how to raise capital. It teaches you. I raised 1.6 million for that business from nothing, from absolute nothing, and it tells you how to do it basically. And you really shouldn't approach any investment house like Crowdcube Seeders or Next Crowd or Next Thing unless you've actually read that book and got all your documents in place, because you're wasting their time. It's not great first impression, and you're wasting your own. So you've got to have all your business plan in place. You've got to have, so the first stage lead investors, an IM, your cash flow forecast, your seed enterprise investment scheme, advanced assurance of the government. There are all the tick boxes are there in that book that you need before raising capital. So don't contact me if you're not in that position. For Laser on Tour, I'm after really ambitious young girls. Unfortunately, it has to be women, and I don't want to be sexist in this game, but laser hair removal is about doing women's bikini lines in their own homes. Not just that, but their legs and stuff like that. And unfortunately, they don't want to be treated by a man. So this really is for the women out there. And it's sad that you haven't seen my partner, because she's out there being very busy today. So I'm the male entrepreneur. It seems weird that I'm running this business, but really it's my girlfriend's business. I'm doing all the operations and the CEO side of it. But yeah, go to our website on lockfranchise.com. Have a look at what we offer if you're interested in owning your own laser hair removal business, and then contact us via that and look at laser on. And if you want a treatment and you're in Hertfordshire, we've got franchises in Bolton right now that just started up. We've got a new one coming up in Cheltenham, and we've got loads of franchise areas in North London and Hertford. So if you want a treatment of laser hair removal, you can have that, and just go to laserontour.com and contact us via that.
That's fantastic. Sacha, it's been an absolute pleasure interviewing you today. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Business Spotlight. Thank you.
Thank you very
To all
much.
of our viewers today, thanks for joining us. What a wealth of knowledge that was. Thanks again, Sacha. And until next time, we'll see you all again soon.
Brilliant. Good luck.
Thanks.